Welcome back to Mark Haney, igniting the entrepreneurial revolution with the HaneyBiz Project.
Well, welcome back to the HaneyBiz Project, brought to you courtesy of Hub International. I'm Mark Haney, and today I am joined by John Allard, the owner of Maids, and he's a city councilman for the city of Roseville. How you doing, John?
I'm doing great. How are you, Mark?
I'm doing great. Now, on these mics, we got to get up a little bit closer, and but let's talk about. I don't know where to take this. I've got a number of things I want to talk to you about. Maybe give us an overview of your business to start. You own a Maids outfit.
Yeah.
What is that?
Well, my wife and I bought the existing Maid franchise that was located in Rockland 12 and a half years ago. And we had decided we wanted to have our own business. We talked about it for years and years and years and always said, okay, so what's the business going to be? And this Maid franchise came up for sale and just out of the blue, and we decided let's give it a shot because, Placer County is growing. Our territory is South Placer County. We started out with 4 employees. We now have 30 employees.
Wow.
This year we're on target to do about $1.2 million in revenue. So it's been an amazing experience. But as Barry Broome mentioned, this is a tough state to do business in.
Yeah.
It's a challenge.
Well, it's tough to find good people, too, these days, especially in these service jobs, right? It seems to me that there's a little bit of a shortage, maybe a lot of a shortage in construction, in janitorial type jobs, these service jobs. What do you guys do to combat that shortage?
Well, we're experiencing that, Mark. We're having a tough time finding employees. In fact, we turn away business every single day because we don't have the employees that we need to service the business. So if we could hire today, we would hire probably 5 or 6 people on the spot. But it's hard to find people. It's hard to find good people, and it's hard to find people that have the work ethic that you need for the jobs that we have. That's a challenge.
So is it a good chance to raise pricing if there's such a shortage?
Well, we're actually looking at having to raise prices on January 1st because of the increase in minimum wage. Gas is going up. Everything's going to go up as a result. So
we're seeing that happen in construction.
Absolutely.
Right? It's everything's ticking up a little bit. They have to. You need to.
It's tough. It's tough finding people. It's tough finding good people. And once you get them trained, it's tough keeping them.
And thinking about, we're talking about business on this show, but as the city councilman for the city of Roseville, you're a leader within South Placer. What's the business climate like in Roseville and South Placer?
Well, first of all, I just want to compliment your previous guest. Barry Broome was here earlier. I want to compliment him on the work that he's doing because he's not only helping communities like Roseville and Rockland and Lincoln, but the greater Sacramento region be much more competitive on an economic basis and helping to bring jobs and businesses and opportunities to our region. So Roseville's a great place. My wife and I have been in Roseville for 32 years. It's an amazing community. It's a great place for people to raise a family. It's a great place for people to start a business, but it's very competitive. Economically, it's very competitive right now, and so we got to stay on the cutting edge and trying to attract, good businesses, good jobs, good people to our community.
Yeah, and one of the, I grew up in Roseville, so in many ways I consider Sacramento my hometown, but specifically Roseville. My wife and I even last year we bought our burial plots. We're going to be buried in Roseville, so I'll live my remaining days in Roseville. And it is a great town. Schools, parks, the way, law enforcement. I mean, there's a lot of great things. I can't see why somebody wouldn't want to locate a business in Roseville.
Well, one of the challenges we're finding, in fact, I just had a conversation about this morning. One of the challenges we're finding with bringing bigger businesses to Roseville is many communities in the region and throughout the nation are getting much more competitive about providing incentives for businesses to come to their community. Roseville has not been as aggressive about that, and that's something I'm trying to change because I think that's important. We've got to be competitive. It's a great community, quality of life is high, but there's competition to bring businesses and jobs to communities. And so we're looking at ways maybe we can be a little more competitive when it comes to incentivizing businesses to come to Roseville.
Yeah, and a lot of these things, Barry talks about deals, right? He makes deals all the time, and you and I have talked about this a little bit. Sometimes it takes locking yourself in a room and coming up with a deal. It doesn't happen by just a flyer that says great parks and great schools. That gets you in the conversation, but then you've got to hammer home a deal at some point.
That's right. Well, and as you know, as elected leaders in our community, we as council members have got to be willing to go out on the road and sell our story, sit in rooms, boardrooms, and conference rooms and have conversations, and be there when deals are made, because that's what businesses are looking for now. You got to be competitive. You got to be with your competitors and offer the deals that are being offered elsewhere, depending on what that deal looks like. But you have to be at the table.
Well, we talked a few weeks ago on the show about a new program called Rise that the region business guys, which I'm on the board of that, getting together with the banking community and causing an opportunity where local cities and municipalities are more inclined to invest in local banks, right? So, and if they invest some of their excess reserves in local banks, then those local banks will, in turn, lend it out to the local community, which, I mean, helps all of us.
It makes perfect sense. In fact, I've reached out to our staff leadership in the city and asked them about what can Roseville do to be involved in that. And we're also talking about having a meeting with some of the folks from the regional business organization this week to talk about what does that look like? You know, what are you looking for? What can we do to maybe be a part of that? So I think it's a great idea, you know, that the days of the local community bank are dwindling. And what we've got to do as communities is we've got to support our local community banks.
Yes.
I think that's critical.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate the fact that they're taking this initiative, and Roseville needs to be a part of that.
And thinking about, we talked about your dad a little bit earlier, right? We have a lot of patriotism that runs through this show. Barry's dad was a Marine in World War II. Your father was in the Battle of the Bulge.
Yeah.
Tell us that story.
My father went over to Germany in late 1944 and was involved in the Battle of the Hurtgen Forest and then the Battle of the Bulge, and was critically injured the end of the year 1944. In fact, at one point, he thought he was going to lose his left arm below his elbow, and his right arm completely at the shoulder. But through perseverance and great medical care, and frankly, a true faith in God. He recovered and had full use of both arms, but he spent a year in hospitals over in Europe and in the States, and was an incredible man, an incredible role model, and somebody I think about every single day that I'm grateful for having the opportunity to grow up with, frankly.
Yeah, where we shape, we talked about Ronald Reagan as well, and all great things in America begin at the dinner table, and we learn so much from our mom and dad and our brothers and sisters and our philosophies that are shaped. You guys talked politics around the table when you were a kid.
Yeah, we did.
And then you go into politics at some point, huh?
Well, and we talked politics around the table with our kids. We have 3 kids, and those were the things that we talked about. And when I was on council previously, my 3 kids went with me to events and to council meetings. In fact, they'd sit in the front row and do their homework at council meetings, because I wanted them to see what government's all about, and I wanted them to see my dedication to my community and helping to, be a part of our community. So, yeah, that's something that I grew up with, and I tried to pass it on to my kids.
Not enough of that happening these days, and you turn on the news these days, and there's a lot of noise, and to get down into the real issues about putting food on the table for our families, you get that a little bit more at a city council meeting than maybe you do on turning on, CNN or one of the other news channels.
Absolutely. That's one of the things, Mark, that I like about local government, because first of all, you can go to the grocery store and run into the people that elected you. But second of all, at a council meeting on Wednesday night, we can make a decision. On Thursday morning, it can be implemented. And so you have a direct impact on the community, but you also have an understanding of what the community needs. I think the folks in Sacramento, in state government, and in Washington, D.C., and the federal government are getting lost. They're losing that connectivity with the people that elect them, and I think that's one of the challenges we're facing, frankly.
And you may have noticed this, Facebook Live, you can see this, you'll see this if you do our YouTube video, but I'm growing out a mustache, and this is the month of November, and they have something referred to as Movember, and it's to recognize and cause awareness for men's health issues. You are looking great, but you recently went through some tough stuff, or maybe you're going through some tough stuff. Would you mind sharing a little bit of that?
Oh, absolutely. First of all, for those people that can see me, my long hair, there's a reason for my long hair. I always wanted to grow my hair long, and when I was diagnosed with prostate cancer in April, I said, well, I guess there's no better time than now to grow my hair. I was diagnosed with prostate cancer, a pretty advanced amount of cancer in my prostate. And some of the cancer was right along the wall of the prostate, and so it was decided that my prostate needed to be removed because they were concerned the cancer would get out into the rest of my body.
Yes.
And so my prostate was taken out. The cancer was limited to the prostate. The margins around my prostate were clear. And actually, the operation was 3 weeks ago today, and I feel great.
Yeah, you look awesome.
Well, thank you. I got to tell you, I appreciate your and Stacy's prayers and support. I reached out. I thought it was important that I shared with people what I was going through because in my position, I think I can help to raise awareness about prostate cancer and maybe help to educate men about prostate cancer. Yeah. You and I would never have had a conversation about this unless I had gone through this, let's be honest.
Yep.
So my plan is to create a nonprofit that'll raise money, and the money will be used for education and awareness about prostate cancer. And I think that's critically important. And I'm feeling great. I'm going to be here a long time, but I'm going to take advantage of that opportunity to help educate men about prostate cancer.
Wow, incredible perseverance, John, and I'm so happy that you're doing well, and the prognosis is great, and that you're doing something to help the next guy in line. So as a show a little bit about gratitude, I appreciate that. I appreciate what you do for the city, but turning the tables on you, just for as we sort of go to break and wrap up, you mentioned that you were thankful for your father and for his influence. Sometimes we don't get a chance to say thank you to people that have done something for us or that cared about us or maybe even taught us a tough lesson. If there's somebody that you can think of that you'd like to say thank you to, who would that be?
Boy, that's a great question. First and foremost, I'd like to thank my Lord God, Savior Jesus Christ, because He has blessed me with so many incredible things, and I'm very comfortable saying that on your radio show. I've been blessed. My life has been blessed, and I'm thankful. My parents were incredible role models for me. I'm thankful for them. They're both gone, but they left a lifetime lasting impression on me. And I can't go without thanking my wife, Lisa, who is an amazing life partner. We've been together, been married for almost 32 years now. And she has been an incredible friend and wife and mother and partner. She actually is the one that really runs our business. I just kind of hide there and pretend like I'm doing things. But she's an incredible business person. And then our children, our friends. I've had business people that I've worked with, government leaders I've worked with, friends like my dear friend Greg Van Dusen, who's sitting over there. Yes. I have been blessed with a lot of people in my life that have done amazing things with me and for me. And I am thankful for them. And at Thanksgiving, I say prayers for thanks of people that have influenced my life.
John Allard, we are thankful for you. You've inspired us today in many ways, and you continue to inspire us with what you're doing at the city, what you're doing in building a business, and what you're doing in looking at the horizon and building the nonprofit to cause us to be more aware of men's issues. When we return, I will be joined by Laura Good and Jeff Bennett of Startup Sac. Join the revolution at HaneyBiz.com, courtesy of the Entrepreneurs Organization of Sacramento and law firm Greenberg Traurig. This is the HaneyBiz Project.